back at the Video Homicide kitchen. Today we're going to be making a dish that I've been pretty much raised on, which is essentially a pasta dish, and I call it goulash. All right, everyone I know has their own, thing that they call goulash. Sometimes it's like a stew. Sometimes it's like, what I'm going to be making here, which is like a pasta dish. So goulash could pretty much be any kind of pasta noodle, spaghetti noodle, penne, elbow macaroni, the Scooby-Doos, the spirals. There's all sorts of things. So today we're going to be using these, I guess that's Felicity. I'm not exactly sure what you call this. I would call them spirals, but these are actually vegetable noodles, and they're organic and all that shit. I'm trying to be very healthy here. I've been vegetarian for like pushing 3 years, and this meal, you could add meat to it, but obviously I'm not going to be doing that. Looks like these are made with tomato, spinach, and some other shit that I can't pronounce. But anyways, supposedly very healthy. The sauce we're going to be using, I believe this is a local sauce put out by a company called the Neal Brothers. All right, and this particular flavor is roasted garlic. All right, which I love garlic. Got a Portuguese fucking girlfriend, and one thing I've learned over the years being with her is that Portuguese people love garlic more than they love their children. That's not an exaggeration, a little bit, but we also got some Earth's Choice diced tomatoes, which I believe are also local. Well, I guess they're not very local since they're the product of the USA and I'm in fucking Canada. Then, of course, we got our vegetables, which we're going to be using. So we got green pepper, which is my favorite vegetable, onion, garlic, red pepper. Got a tomato hidden back there. And then I got this little sort of what I call like the vegetable dish. It has like, all the stuff that I use frequently, like celery, carrots, broccoli, that type of stuff. And it's just easier to put everything into a pot or, like a container like that, instead of like, having all these bags or, little separate little doohickeys full of your vegetables. Oh, and also I got some green onion there because I'm a fan of green onion like there's no tomorrow. In case you're hearing like a weird noise, I am also boiling eggs here because I plan on pickling some eggs today. I've actually made a video maybe 4 or 5 months ago about how I make the pickled eggs, so go ahead and check that out if you want. But right now, what we're going to do is we're going to get our pasta boiling, and we're going to start cutting up our vegetables. When it comes to boiling your pasta, always start the water off with cold, and I found great success in this method. And the reason why I use the cold water is because I like to salt the water, and I read on this thing once, which was probably bullshit, who knows, but they said salt your water when it's cold. It's better for the molecular properties. Like I'm over here like Bill Nye, the science guy. And now we just got a slew of vegetables to cut up, and all these are previously washed, except for the onion and the garlic because it's underneath skin, so it kind of defeats the purpose. You're going to wash the skin and then cut the skin off. I don't know the exact recipe. Maybe I'll try to get her to bestow us with her wisdom. But Kayla once made this cheese sauce, and I'm cutting with the wrong hand here. But she once made this cheese sauce out of carrots and sweet potato, and I swear to God, it tasted like exactly like cheese, like a cheese sauce. I can't do it with my left. I gotta go back. It's fucking crazy. It's like trying to wipe your ass with the opposite hand. It just ain't happening. Yeah, man. Here's our beautiful hot pan. Let's introduce it to a little fucking garlic all over the goddamn stove. Is this even on? Oh, it's on. Onion, complete with the onion skin fragments on the plate there. That's the way they do it in the movies. The carrot, which I love, man. Green pepper and red pepper. Be sure to make a mess. Flip this bitch around. Broccoli and celery. And then go ahead and start adding our seasonings, which I'll get out in a sec. All-purpose seasoning, which is very delicious stuff. Some Italian seasoning. Otherwise, it would not be authentic. I don't even know what this is. What the fuck's in here? Marigam, thyme, basil, rosemary, savory, and oregano. And I also got a little bit of the old man's secret sauce right here. This is the Purple Demon, and this stuff is no joke. And the crazy thing is, these are made with peppers that he's grown, peppers that his buddies have given him, and he just dries them out, grinds them up, and mixes it all up. He's got a thing at home that he calls 9/11, and well, he calls it 911, but when I first seen it, I thought it was 9/11, like the historic disaster that took place. I'm not making light of that. I'm just saying that I was like, yo, you called this 9/11? Is it that fucking hot? That's twisted. What I'm about to show you is extremely dangerous, but I do not own a can opener, because why would I own a can opener when I have a knife? Okay? Now, you might be thinking to yourself, what the hell is he going to do with that knife? Well, let's get ourselves in position here. I'm from the ghetto. Okay, you can take the kid out of the ghetto, but you can't take the ghetto out of the kid. Pop her in. And then just fucking glide her. I've opened pretty much every can that I've opened for the last like 5 years like this. I actually used to have one of those like, hold on. All the fucking spices in the air turned me into a fucking COVID victim. I'm actually going to get a little bit naughty here, and I'm going to add some jalapeno Havarti on the tops of these, what did I call them? Garlic bread bites. I'm not using like a lot of cheese here, but it's literally the last slice. And I forgot to mention that I just picked up this wooden spoon from the dollar store. Like, again, man, the dollar store is stepping their game up. They got good stuff there, so let's check it out. It always kind of explodes when you're trying to plate it, but that's fine by me, man. It looks good. The nice vegetable noodles. Probably give it a decent little amount. Probably could have oiled the pan a little bit. I mean, it's not stuck like terrible, like you can tell, but I mean, it never really hurts to oil your pan. So there it is. There's our first little taste of heaven. So go ahead and bust out your Springbank Cheese & Co. Springbank Cheese Co. Parmesan cheese. All right, now don't get to add too much of this stuff because it's pretty goddamn salty, but that should do it right there. And then can't forget, grab your onions, your fresh green onions. Go like that. And if that ain't gourmet, wait, hold on, it's not gourmet yet. Grab a few of these bad boys. Alright, it's about to be gourmet. 7 Michelin star meal right there. There it is. It looks good, man. It looks damn good. So it has been a journey cooking this with you guys. Now what I got to do is decide on a movie to watch with this food. So the next time you'll be seeing me is talking about the film that we just watched. I appreciate everybody for watching the cooking portion of this, if that's all you stuck around for. So with that being said, on to the feature. What's going on, everybody? It's Ricky from Video Homicide, and that was some delicious goulash, okay? Now, I know a lot of people are probably like, that was fucking pasta. Why do you keep calling it goulash? That's what I call it, man. I was raised on that shit. Hence the size, okay? I mean, I love it, man. It's like Weckman from, or not Weckman, I think they call him Weckman from Dragon's Den, Canada. There's a shot where these people were like pitching this like gluten-free stuff, and he was like, well, I'm not MSG, I'm MGM, which was more gluten Mike. I love pasta, I love bread. I'm on the same team as Mike Weckman. But I gotta talk about this film, Return of the Living Dead. Yes, a classic, a staple. Okay, Dan O'Bannon wrote this script rather, in 1985. He also directed the film. Now, if you were unaware of Return of the Living Dead, right off the bat, I would go ahead and stop this video, watch the movie, because it's hands down one of the best sort of horror comedy films of the era, of the 80s. And there's quite a few of them, of course, like your American Werewolf in London, your Evil Dead 2, all that kind of stuff. This movie fits right into the time, man. It's a classic. For a reason, people respect this movie. It's made up of countless amazing special effects. amazing acting all the way around, especially from our two main dudes who are working at this sort of scientific warehouse where they wholesale out things like, stuff for science experiments, i.e. half of a dog to show all the innards of a dog, dead bodies, probably other weird, brains and eyeballs, all kinds of messed up shit. And the movie starts off with these two guys working at this place. And we got a young guy, we got an old guy, or an older man, maybe in his 50s, and then our young guy's probably he's about 18 years old. And he just started this job. He's sort of getting the walk around the tour. And this older guy, he's just fucking with this kid the whole time and just like hyping everything up. And it gets to a point where the old guy, he's like, did you ever see that movie Night of the Living Dead? Which I love as like a reference to a classic film. Like, so they treat Night of the Living Dead like it was an actual movie. But more than that, they treat it like it was an actual event that happened in history, which is crazy to me because when I was a kid, I think I'd probably seen Return of the Living Dead Part 3 before any of the films in the franchise. Part 2 is great as well. Part 3 is great on its own right, but so I remembered certain things, and I remember when I finally got around to watching this movie, I was just like blown away at how unintentionally fun, or maybe intentionally funny it was, because the whole time I was kind of laughing. Like Dan O'Bannon, he was the guy that wrote Alien, which is another just classic film, but that was of the 70s, granted. But anyway, we got a movie on our hands, or we got a situation on our hands where these guys are discussing the film, and the old guy tells the young dude that, oh, well, those bodies from that movie, they were shipped here, they were shipped here, the U.S. government shipped them here. And they go down to the basement, and there's this like big metal drum. There's actually quite a few of them. And the older guy, he like rubs off like the barcode, and he shines it up, and he gets so the young guy can look into this thing, and you see like, without opening it, and you see like this face, like this melted sort of decrepit face. And our young guy, he's like, oh, like are those sealed, or are these things gonna leak or anything like that? And the old guy goes, are you kidding me? These are fucking sound as a baby, man. These things were made by the U.S. Army. And he kicks it, and then it just starts spewing out the fucking fumes and stuff, and it's getting into the air, and boom, that's the start of our film. So across the street, I gotta mention real quick, there's a mortuary, and on the other side of the street, there's a graveyard. So the young guy, his group of friends are waiting for him to get off work, and they range from like this like badass dude that has actually an appearance in Friday the 13th Part 5, which is my favorite of those films. And you got I believe his name is Miguel Nunez. He's also in Friday the 13th Part 5. He's the guy that's in the shit house, and he goes, baby, baby. Like that guy. I just love that scene. But anyways, these guys are basically dicking around waiting for their buddy to get off work, and they say, you know what, screw it. Let's go hang out in this graveyard. Also, one of them is Leanna Quigley, who's in like Night of the Demons. She's even got like her own workout video from the 80s, like a horror workout video. And she's in a ton of stuff from that era as well. But they all go start dicking around in this graveyard. And then our two guys, the old guy and the young guy, they're just like, they come out of this like, they both wake up at the same time, and they're both feeling like shit. And, they end up calling, like a bunch of madness ensues at this warehouse. So they call their boss. Their boss shows up, and the boss is he's the dad from Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2, which I also love. I feel like we're talking a lot about franchise horror tonight, but I love it, man. Anyways, so he shows up, and he kind of tries to help sort out the situation. And, they take care of one of the situations, we'll say that, and they end up going over the mortuary to see if they can use, the crematorium to get rid of these particles. Okay, we'll call it that. And the guy working there is like the owner's old-time friend, so he says, you know what, no problem, fuck it. They throw the stuff into the crematorium, or, like the furnace, essentially, and it starts spewing up all the smoke and all that. And, of course, it starts raining. Okay, and the rain gets mixed in with this smoke, and it starts falling all over the graveyard and all over the kids in the graveyard, and they split. So they get out of the graveyard, and they start they start, you know, kind of going their separate way without giving too much away, because this is a movie you just got to watch. And I feel like I say that every fucking episode of my, you know, YouTube videos, but it's a fact. I don't want to give too much away, because this is one of those movies you got to check out. You got to go into it with an open mind, and you can't really know too much about it, because there's a lot of sort of little plot twists and turns, because these zombies in this film are not like your garden variety zombies that you might see in your George Romero films, or, you know, any kind of, you know, Lucio Fulci zombie films. Like, if you shoot them, it doesn't really do much, okay? Doesn't matter where you shoot them, doesn't really do much. But the film kind of breaks into like these three groups, or these three storylines. We got our kids in the graveyard, we got our guys work in the shop, and then we got our guy that works at the morgue. And the guy that works at the morgue, great actor. I can't really tell you anything else he's been in. I know I've seen him in some other stuff. Matter of fact, I think he actually passed away only in the last couple of years, which of course is very sad. Sad to see these icons go, you know, but it's the way the story goes, right? It's sad as fuck, life. But not to get too morbid for a minute there, but he sort of becomes like I don't really want to call him like fuck, what would I call him? He's just like a dude that works this mortuary, and he's a badass. He's a badass, okay? He's more of a badass than like the guy the boss of the warehouse that shows up. Anyways, the film ends up with them barricaded in this mortuary, all of them. Like, so the split group, like we got the young kids, we got the, you know, the older people and all that. They're all in this mortuary, trying to barricade it and all that stuff. Some of them escape, some of them try to escape, some of them die, some of them cry. Some of them get attacked by what is maybe one of the most famous zombies of all time in cinema, known as the Tar Man. Before I forget, some amazing, what do you call that? Like when the art, like preliminary art, or I'm blanking on the word, but some of the character designs that were made from this film, or made for the film, were designed by a guy named Mike Ploog. Actually, was it Mike Ploog? I don't know if it was Mike Ploog. I want to say Rob Bottin almost, but I could be wrong on that. But nonetheless, just look up concept art for Return of the Living Dead, and you're going to see some amazing art that's like tattoo-worthy, good stuff. But I'm going to end this video, the Goulash Return of the Living Dead video, by stating, send more cops. Check out I almost said check out the Patreon. Check out the Teespring account. Check out the Facebook page, the Instagram, all that shit. Leave a comment on this video if you have an idea for another sort of meal/movie pair up I can do. Try not to like have like an Italian film with an Italian dish. Try to like, you know, give me like an African horror film if you know any. I'd love to watch some, and pair that with like a fucking, you know, Asian dish, or like a Canadian dish or something like that. I really do enjoy making these videos, man. So with that all being said, thanks for watching. Adios. Have a good night. Have a good weekend. And stay safe out there. Wear your masky wask. I got mine somewhere. Yeah. Anyways, adios.